Hey guys, it's Laura with Victory Cheer Uniforms. As you know, our motto, the look that inspires, is really based on what happens throughout the sport of cheer. But one generation inspires the next. From coaches to athletes to parents to the crowd, the team spirit, it is all a virtuous cycle of inspiration. Our channel, Victory Voices, is all about sharing those inspiration stories. We hope you enjoy this one. Like, share, and comment, the trifecta, help to encourage in their inspirational journeys, and feel free to contact us to share your inspiration journey throughout the beautiful sport of cheer. Today, we have got Macy and Chelsea with the Lunar Allstars with us. They're gym owners, and they're going to share with us their journey and their experience running a gym from the leadership side of the cheer industry. And I'm so excited that they're here with us today to share their story. So I'm going to go ahead and have them tell you a little bit about their background. How did you guys decide to get into this industry, and tell us a little bit about you?
So Chelsea and I have cheered our whole lives. We both kind of got into it for different reasons, for different causes, but we ended up meeting in middle school, and that really flourished our relationship and our love for the sport. After graduating, we both kind of went different paths, and we decided to do different things. But that wasn't working out too well for us. We just, all in all, just wasn't fulfilled. So I had actually moved to Florida, and on the way back, I had called Chelsea, and
I was teaching fourth grade at an elementary school at the time. And she was like, so, are you loving what you're doing? And I was like, honestly, I hate every single day. And I'm so ready to be done with this. And she was like, well, what do you think about opening up a cheer gym? And I was like, I mean, we could try. So I called my old dance teacher, and she ended up letting us rent some space from her out of the back of her gym. And we were really only able to stay there for like 2 months before we ended up having to go out and get our own facility because we had kind of outgrown the space that we were in.
That's amazing how you guys were able to get something started so quickly and kind of off the whim. Really resourceful of you to rent space out of a dance studio. Super resourceful.
Yes. And when we first started off, it was just tumbling classes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't technically cheer when you started, just tumbling.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we had opened up in January, and then we had got our own facility by like March, and then we weren't planning on doing an all-star team that season because, we had only been in our own gym for like 2 months before everyone really does tryouts.
Yeah.
But we got to like the half-year season mark, and we had a bunch of kids that were like, we really want to do all-star. So we were like, okay, I guess we'll have our first season as a half-year season.
So were you guys at first planning on being a part of the dance studio, kind of like an extension of the dance studio, to participate in their recital with tumbling?
No, we just knew that was a facility that would be a great starting point for us. I actually did not dance. Chelsea danced, so I would have been no help in that aspect whatsoever. And she was actually getting ready to retire at the time, so it just kind of worked out best for everyone. She actually ended up retiring and then coming and working at our gym for a few months just because she missed the kids. She was like, I can't just walk away right now. So it was a nice little full circle moment.
It's infectious. You really don't want to leave the sport of cheerleading. You can't give up the energy. It's the best addiction you can have.
Yes.
Okay. And so now that you guys have been doing this for a little while, what's your current focus?
I would say really just growing our all-star programs and really investing into the athletes that we have and growing not just strong athletes, but strong individuals and, really pushing them to be the best that they can be.
And furthermore, a strong community. We live in a small little town in North Georgia, so we are really trying to make cheer more than just the sport and really allow especially the younger athletes, to still be able to grow, but not have all the pressure, but just a little bit more than, what rec cheer would be. So that way they can start taking those steps to then, potentially be a college athlete or whatever it is that they want to do. But just getting them in there a little bit younger and kind of getting that around town and, having everybody kind of understand what all-star cheerleading is, because it's still kind of split in our town.
Yeah.
Split between Scholastic and All-Star?
Just kind of split between like more traditional lifestyles and not really like understanding what all-star even is.
All the traveling and just the commitment in general and all the time that goes into it.
Yes.
It's a complete lifestyle. Once you're an all-star cheer, it's just,
Yes.
it's a lifestyle at that point. It's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
So do you guys have any testimonies, from your vision, any success stories from the vision that you've been putting into these athletes?
Our little babies are just now getting to upperclassmen, freshmen, or upperclassmen in high school. So none of them have graduated yet or, went on to some other things yet, but we are getting there. And it is a very bittersweet moment for Chelsea and I. We've actually been talking about that
a lot lately. About how they're all getting, like, all the ones that we started with on like our first team and stuff, like those girls are getting close to aging out, and just how crazy it is and how long it's been since we have started.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it feels like literally just yesterday.
Do you think that they're taking a lot more confidence with them into high school now that they're aging out of this program?
For sure.
100%.
For sure. And, I was even talking to one of our athletes she was on our very first year team, and then she had done the second year, and then she's taken a break the past 2 years. And she's actually coming back for All-Star this year. And I just asked her, what are like the main reasons why you're wanting to come back? And she was like, above all else, it is the confidence that I had as an all-star cheerleader, and taking that into, every other aspect of my life. I feel like I've lost a lot of confidence since not being a part of the program.
Really? Wow. Well, I'm glad that she's coming back. She's going to regain that. And hopefully, it sticks with her as she continues to age out of this program. That those are just life lessons for her, and a feature that she can carry forever, as well as all of your athletes. It's something that it does take a little while to really stick. You can really miss cheer for a while, but I think that is a core characteristic that is just ingrained in athletes once they've been doing it for so long. Like I said, it's a lifestyle, it's part of who they are. So are there any other problems that you guys wanted to solve in the industry, other than in your community? You really wanted to introduce All-Star Cheer and the lifestyle of All-Star Cheer. Were there any other problems, like just a lack of All-Star, or what were the other problems that you guys wanted to solve?
I'd say in our town, there was really only like one other All-Star Cheer gym, and we actually both cheered at it. And
but they do more than just all-star. They do all sorts of things,
and power tumbling and a lot of other things.
Yes. And so we really wanted to just kind of hone in and just be an all-star cheerleading program. And I would say the biggest thing, because we did start coaching at a local middle school before we had even opened up a gym. And that was a great opportunity for us to learn, the ins and outs of coaching and running a program, and, kind of that next step of, what it would be like to run a facility. And the biggest thing, especially that we really try to push for here, is taking a lot of the cattiness out of cheer, and a lot of the, I'm better, I'm this, I'm that, we don't allow that here in our facility. We don't even allow our athletes to say can't. If they say can't, they have 10 burpees. Because every words are powerful, right? So we just don't want, we never want that self-doubt. We never want you putting down another athlete, another teammate, and especially to yourself, because if you don't believe you can, we can't go anywhere. That's step number one.
Absolutely. That is amazing that you guys are just again, that's reinforcing the confidence. You can do it. You work hard, you figure it out. You can.
Exactly.
You can. And so what are some of the strategies that you guys have used to take out this cattiness?
I feel like the biggest thing is just, I mean, off rip each season, we let the girls know, we do a lot of team bonding, and we really let them know, like, we have to be a unit in this, or we will never reach our goals. You can want it as bad as you want, and you can throw all your tumbling and you can hit all your stunts, but if we don't do it all together, then we're not going to get the results that we want. I feel like one thing that we do a lot that maybe not other programs do is we switch around our athletes a good bit. So we have athletes who can fly, who can back, who can base, who can, do all the things. And we kind of have them everywhere in every section. So it keeps them working with multiple different people on their team, and not like that one set stunt group and only working with them in every single section. So I feel like that really helps them just get to know each other better, especially once, we're just going full out and working on the routine at that point. We're not really team bonding at that point in the season. We're trying to hit our skills and get ready for competition. So I think that really helps them just learn how to work with each other and be versatile and be open to all sorts of different people. Everybody's different. Everyone bases different, flaws different, all of those little things. And so I feel like that's probably the biggest thing that helps with that.
Absolutely. Now I've heard about switching out, stunt groups, having your stunt groups lined up and then flyer switch. Do you guys do it maybe every other practice? You'll switch the whole thing around, or do you guys do the position rotation? What's your strategy there for keeping your team mixed up?
It's kind of like different sections. So like, our elite section 9 times out of 10 is not going to be set in stone, just whatever I see that needs to be changed. If I feel like she's a stronger back spot and, that group could do better with her and, whatever it may be, then we'll move that around. But, just making sure that they're not having that same group in pyramid or, in opening basket or in whatever other sections it may be, just doing what's best for the stunt itself in that moment, not necessarily a group, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely does. I'm going to pivot back a little bit to your early days. What was your biggest surprise back when you guys had first decided to open this up in a dance studio? What was one of the biggest surprises and challenges that you had to face?
One of the biggest challenges we had to face was, I guess, just like time and space, really, in the beginning, because she did have like a tumbling like gym. It was a little bit smaller and it had lots of equipment and things like that, but it really could only fit like one class in at a time. So like if she was doing a class, then we couldn't do a class. So it was like for the first, I know for me, I was teaching school, so I was working every day from like 6:45 to like 3 o'clock, and then I would turn around and go to the cheer gym because we couldn't go into like 7, so then I would work from like 7 to 9 o'clock every night and then not end up making it home until like 9:30. So in the beginning it was a lot in the beginning for me.
And I think that really speaks to what a lot of cheer coaches go through. That's something that is not seen a lot of times is, the cheer coaches also have, and even gym owners, they've got a regular 9 to 5 that's, kicking their butt Monday through Friday or any day of the week, really. Families as well, the commitment to your families, and then the time sacrifice to make it to the gym, to make it to the field, and what you guys are doing for your athletes. How you really pour every spare ounce of energy you have into them. So kudos. That's a lot that you poured in. Now, has it balanced out since you've gotten your own gym and since you've been able to just go dedicated to the All-Star gym, not so much teaching anymore?
I think it definitely has gotten a lot better because I'm able to donate a lot more time to here and just doing a lot more to grow the business here. Because I was like, before, between teaching and then, going straight to the gym, I was giving it my all and, every little ounce of free time that I had. But it wasn't a lot of free time because by the time I got home at the end of the night, I was dead. And then it was like, wake up and do it all over again the next day. But I would do it all over again because we were thankfully able to start our business with no debt. We still have no debt. And that's one of the biggest things that I think I'm thankful for through this whole experience. It was rough at first, but we don't have any debt.
Yeah, you got to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues to get started sometimes, most of the time. But that's really smart to start off with just renting a space from a local studio that's already there. Ingenious.
Yes, I think that was probably the best move we could have made all around.
So how do you feel like your leadership has really changed from when you first started and even when you were middle school coaches to where you are now? How has your leadership style changed?
Well, when we first started, we were both very young. I was 19 and she was 20. So obviously at that age, we had just gotten out of school, in our heads, middle school was not that young of an age.
They weren't little babies. Like to us, we were like, y'all can do it.
Yeah,
Y'all
like
are capable.
we just went through middle school. Yeah. So, and in that age, when you are that age, you're not viewing yourself as a young child. You're starting to feel like a preteen and I'm getting my life together, So that's kind of how we coached them at that time. But as we've gotten older, they just get younger and younger. And I'm just like, 12, 13, you're a child, you're a baby. So I feel like if anything, some of the things that we were a little more strict on back then, we're not as strict on now, just because we understand
that those things don't really matter at the end of the day.
And that they are a little bit younger, but also just having confidence in, I feel like we always have confidence in coaching, but more so confidence in running a business and communicating to the parents. And like our second season, we had tried to do 2 teams, and it ended up halfway through the year we had to combine those 2 teams and
into
just
one.
Yes, and I remember we were shaking in our boots for that.
Going to talk to these parents.
Yes.
And now thinking back, like if that were to happen now, I bet, okay, like we're having a parent meeting tonight. Like we're telling the parents what's going on.
Yes, like this is what it is and this is what it ain't. But at the time we were terrified.
And we were even just talking the other day, like thinking back to our first season being all-star coaches and like taking that first team and just how much time, and we only had one team, and how much time and effort and just how big the day was and just
how stressed out we were and nervous and like
now we had 4 teams this season, and I don't think that the anxiety and stress that I had then could even
it would never meet. We were beyond, stressed out and all the things, and we're nowhere near that with 4 teams. Like it was just that first year jitters and getting through everything. So all in all, I feel like we've grown a lot in so many different aspects. We both did All-Star Cheer, but All-Star Cheer has changed
so
drastically
since we have cheered.
Yes. So that was a bit of a learning curve for us. We didn't know the difference between elite and prep and novice. That
like the first year, whenever we called, he told us the only difference between the prep and elite was 30 seconds. No score sheet,
like 30
difference.
Seconds and no basket. So
that's it. And we were like, our kids can do 30 seconds extra.
Yeah. They had just competed for middle school. So we were like, they can do 2 minutes and 30 seconds and they can do baskets.
So we just threw them in the elite section, and we got there and we were like,
we didn't
this
know
lady
that
lied to us.
Yeah. We should not have been in the elite division our first year. That was quite a time. I think that's also why we were beyond
detailed to mention experience.
Yes. Yeah. But you learn and you grow. So now here we are, and I don't think I could ever feel the same way that I felt during that first season.
That's awesome. Getting all of those jitters, getting all of the kinks out of the way and ironed out. and building your confidence as leaders and communicating to
Yeah.
those parents as well. So same question with a strategy on your leadership style and getting out the cattiness. What's your strategy with dealing with parents?
That is a good one. I feel like it changes all the time because I
Yeah.
feel like, between communication with others, I mean, that's just something you can always grow on, and that's something that you're always learning. And I think just kind of as the years have went on, I don't know that we necessarily have a specific strategy to deal with parents. Just trying to keep things fair across the board and letting them know our expectations in advance. We do have a code of conducts, which has several things listed out in it. Like if they're upset, we do have a 24-hour cool down period. They're not allowed to approach us with any type of issues on competition day. They have to wait until the next day to approach us with those things. So we've just told them, that's just not the time or the place. That's really for celebrating, all these girls have been working on, and, appreciating all of their hard work, and not, maybe
Whether
thinking or
something went
talking,
wrong or not, whether a team had a fall or not. It's
or
just
they just
not
don't
the
like the
time.
venue, because we've
Yeah.
had that before.
Yeah, it's like
and-
I'm not enjoying this, and it's just not the time or the place. We can always have that conversation afterwards and decide maybe next season we don't want to go there, or whatever it may be. All of the things, we know what we need to do at the next practice, and we will handle that accordingly. And we also have closed practices,
Oh, yeah.
which
we do not allow parents into our practices, which has been the best decision we have ever made.
yeah, we have every season we have a few parents, not happy about it, and they want to come in, and they try every year. They tried to convince us to let them in, but
now we do have a few practices throughout the season where we do allow parents to come in, but I mean, for the most part, I just feel like the girls do so much better whenever they can really just focus on the job that they need to do.
Yeah.
Lots of sideline coaching from
Yes.
like, you grab her foot and you do that, and I'm like looking
Or,
over my
I know you
shoulder
can
like,
do better than that, or you need to push more than that. And especially when an athlete's already upset and frustrated with themselves, and maybe frustrating with their stunt group or with me as a coach, whoever it may be, and then you hear that extra little voice from your mom,
and
if
how
that's
moms
just
and
sometimes
daughters are.
the tipping over the edge. And so we and like we said, we started coaching at a school, and all school practices are closed. So we got very comfortable with that, and all in all, it just works out the best. I feel like practice time is just not the time for parents to be in the gym. It's not.
Now we do allow them into like their tumbling sessions,
Yes, and privates and stunt
things like
classes
that.
and all the things, just not all-star practice.
Okay. And you said you've been doing that all the way since you were coaching middle school, was closing the practices.
Yes.
That is smart. And I love that you guys keep competition day positive. Deal with everything else later. Let's just focus on having fun and the victory that the girls are experiencing.
Exactly.
Well, athletes, I should say athletes are experiencing. I do love how much males has started to come into the sport of cheer.
Yes.
We were just at the Global Cheer Dance Worlds, and and this is totally side topic here, but one of the most passionate cheerleaders out there, maybe the most passionate cheerleader out there, it was a boy. He looked like he was maybe 15, 16 years old, and I mean, he was having the time of his life. So I just absolutely love seeing the male cheerleaders coming in. Now, have you guys also had male cheerleaders in your gym yet?
We have not, but we have been praying to the good Lord above that we can have some here soon.
Because we know growing up, and we were actually just talking about this yesterday, growing up, and we actually just hired a male coach. He'll be the only male on our staff. So we're excited about him coming in the next 2 weeks. But growing up, Macy and I were always surrounded by males. Like the cheer gym that I grew up in was owned by a male, and there was lots of males that worked there, and there was boys who cheered, and then there was boys who cheered at our school.
And we, on our all-star teams, they were co-ed. So, we're used to male cheerleaders and male coaches, but
I feel like we just haven't really had any interested yet.
Yeah. But we're hoping that having a male coach in here
will help get some boys in.
Yeah, maybe, making the males feel a little bit more at ease and have an identity in the gym as well there. So, public announcement, Lunar Allstars is looking for male cheerleaders.
Yes. And male coaches.
What was one of your hardest leadership moments in your journey all the way from coaching middle school? What has been one of the hardest things?
Because we were so young, I feel like just wanting to please everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to just make everyone happy. Just as leaders. Yeah. So as leaders, we're like, we just want you to be happy, and we want you to be happy, and we want everyone to just have a good experience so everyone will come back. But I think that we realized a little early on that, not everybody is a fit for your gym, and that's okay. And I think that after our first year, that's and I think that just kind of came with time and just getting older and just realizing that, we do have certain standards that we want to have at the gym, and we might make some people a little bit upset trying to uphold those, but at the end of the day, we have to, stay true to who we are and what we want to put out as a program and as a facility, and just really make sure that everyone is on board with that. Because one bad apple will ruin the whole bunch.
Yes. And even with that, our age has always been, one of the biggest things. And Chelsea and I look very young. So we actually, even in this past season, we had found out that one of our moms thought that
we were in high school.
Yeah, they thought both Chelsea and I were like 16, 17. And we were like, no. So I feel like that's the biggest thing. Neither one of us are married, and we don't have kids. So we really can give all to the business. We both just have some little doggies at home. But with that, that doesn't help with us already looking so young, and then not having, being married or having kids. So then they really think we're just very, very young. And we're like, no, we're almost 30. I promise we're not that young.
So question on the topic of being young and being leaders, because you guys are still young in your 20s, but I can totally see how parents would treat you differently from a coach who might have 20, 30 years of experience.
Yes.
I got started in the industry very, very young myself. Our paths are a little bit similar, getting started like back in middle school and having a cheer business. Honestly, I started it in college. So I totally get, starting young and needing to build that authority and that leadership at a young age. So what kind of advice would you give to young leaders who might be struggling with the that impression factor and trying to overcome
I would say
older parents?
The biggest thing is just confidence, really. The more and the more you educate yourself, the more confident you're gonna feel, you know what I mean? Just all around the board, especially with cheer, there's so many aspects that go into it. It's not just, can you coach tumbling the correct way? It's, stunts, and we've got a whole routine. We actually also do choreography ourselves. So growing in the choreography aspect and, figuring out the way that we want routines to look and just all of those things. So I feel like knowledge is the biggest thing that helps with that confidence. And just, once you make a decision and once you say something, you're going to have to stand by it. So make sure that you think before you speak. But once you say it, stand your ground on it. And
I really think it's important too, just like we said before, like having the expectations laid out ahead of time,
Yeah.
kind of what you expect of everyone, I think is very important, because I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that we made in the beginning, was kind of not having like a code of conducts and kind of like laying out, like this is kind of how we expect the atmosphere at the gym to be. This is kind of how we expect your behavior to be. This is how we expect problems to be resolved. Because I think too, as we have gotten older, I think, when you're younger, you're just like, oh, all adults kind of have it figured out.
Yeah.
But I think, as you get older, you realize that a lot of adults still need to work on communication. And so just kind of spelling things out like that, I think really helps not just, us, but them at the end of the day, for everyone to just kind of be on the same page, and we just have the most effective communication, so that everybody's, like I said, on the same page at the end of the day. I think that's the most important thing for the girls. We only have girls in our gym right now.
I have to correct myself too on, switching from girls to athletes. I
Yes.
Years ago, I would say girls, but now I try to make it a common across the board term for athletes and be very inclusive. But yeah, I totally agree on the fact that common sense is not always, it's not across the board.
No.
I made a lot of mistakes as well in the early days, assuming
Yes.
that what I thought was common sense was going to be other
The
people's.
same for
Yes.
everyone.
And it's not always.
Yes.
So having things in writing, clear expectations, repeating the expectations, but key writing for sure, getting everything documented and collecting signatures across the board. Is really the best way. And having it easy to refer back to as well, so that like when issues do come up, you guys can refer right back to
I can
we
tell
pull it
you
right back
we
up.
pull out the code of conduct and we're like, you signed this.
And this is where it says, this is not how we're going to handle that. And this is where you agreed to that. And this is, all of those things. So those normally aren't the best conversations, but that is why we do that code of conduct, because everyone needs to be on the same page. Like we've said, time and time again. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So for anyone who's watching this right now and thinking about getting into cheer coaching or opening up a gym, really just research everything that would need to go into your documentation process. That documentation is going to be your best friend.
Yes.
And I love what you said about knowledge as well, knowledge being power, and letting that boost your confidence and just educating yourself all around.
Yeah.
Because there are so many cheerleaders, after they're aging out of the sport, they want to get into the leadership side. They want to coach. And so how to overcome, the fact that they are so young. Just really educating yourself. Thank you for that.
We've competed with Deep South this past year, and so we had went to their
Conference.
their coaches conference, and there's also a tumbling camp in Nashville. It's called Nash Camp, and so me and another coach went to that last year, and just go into as many things as you can, and it's okay to not know everything right now. And what I found, especially in the cheer community, is that people are more than willing to share their knowledge and more than willing to help. You've just got to be open to asking, and that's a thing that not a lot of people want to do. They don't want to ask for help, and they I can figure it out on my own, especially in today's time. But I mean, people who have done it for 45, 50 years, I mean, they got to know something, right? So just asking as many questions as you can. And even if you feel like, this way is working, there may be a better way. There may be something that works better, so we're open to everything, even with our coaching staff, if they have new drill ideas or a new class setup system or whatever it may be, we really try to keep our coaching staff like a family here, and we're all here for the same reason. So whatever it is that can help the program and help the athletes is the number one thing that we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys for being willing to come on and share what you've learned, your golden nuggets of knowledge. I really appreciate that. And I think that everyone watching who is thinking about opening up a cheer gym, or who maybe already has a cheer gym, will appreciate the lessons that you guys are sharing with us. So thank you. All right, we're going to keep moving forward with your growth balance. your winning versus your growth balance. Growth
Mhm.
balance being you can grow in the losses as
Mhm.
well. How do you feel your balance is on that with learning to lose and having the satisfaction of winning? How is that balance in your gym?
So I feel like we got off to a great start at learning how to lose. Because like I
Immediately.
said, that first year we immediately enrolled our girls who not a single person on the team had ever done a year of all-star cheer in their life, never stepped foot on a competition floor. The only like competition cheer they had done was school cheer in middle school. All of these girls were in middle school. So, and then we also were competing under varsity. So elite varsity our first year. You can guess probably what place we came in every single competition. But I will say we really tried to get the girls to focus on their score
Yeah.
more than anything. And, at the end of the day, we're competing against ourselves because, we have always been open and honest with the girls.
Mhm.
And as soon as we figured out what was going on, we sat everybody down and was
Parents
like,
included, and let everyone know, hey, this wasn't the best division for us to go in this season.
but we're unable to change at this point. So we've just got to make the best out of it that we can.
And we ended up going, from our first competition, and I think it was only 3 months in between that. Our last competition, we had went up 10 points by the end of the season. So we were beyond proud of those girls and beyond proud of the growth that we were able to make in really such a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that kind of helped set that standard, and we've taken that in as years follows.
I was gonna say, and kind of as the time goes on, because you have competitions obviously where you get first, and you have some competitions where you don't win first. And the biggest thing that we really try to focus on just throughout the whole season is, like I said before, just the scores and just making sure that every competition, us as a team, because I told the girls your biggest competition is yourself at the end of the day. And really pushing yourself and wanting to do better for yourself, because at the end of the day, that other team, their athletes could just be phenomenal, and they might just be working 10 times harder than us, and
they may have been in it for 5 years longer than you have. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, especially with us being so new into it still, and we get a lot of athletes who have never done all-star before.
I would say
come
still at least 50%, if not more, of our athletes each year have never cheered before, especially on an all-star team.
Yeah. So, just understanding where we're at as a team and being realistic in our goals and realistic with the parents. And now that we understand the divisions, we know, hey, that team needs to go in front this year. Or, hey, that team should just compete novice because they're a youth level 1 team and they're just starting off, and placements should not be the main focus of that program. So,
Right.
we try to keep that going through each level and each team, and just what is best for that team and those group of athletes.
That's awesome. Yeah, just letting them enjoy the sport just to get started, get their feet wet.
Yes. We don't have world's teams right now, so that's,
We'll get there.
Yes, we'll get there. But right now it's just growing that confidence and growing our program and making a name for ourselves, really.
Are you still competing at the varsity competitions, or have you expanded out to some of the other smaller competition brands?
So last season we had competed with Deep South, and I believe we're going to be doing the same this season. And
we've also competed a little bit with Victory as well.
Yes.
In the past, and they do one in Dalton that I think that we're going to do again this year.
I know we've had a couple of competition partners, and it's really spectacular what is happening right now in the competition industry. Competition breeds improvement.
Mhm.
And so the events, having it more enjoyable, better venues, just more entertaining all around. It's getting, I think, just incredible what's happening. And so with your athletes learning where they need to start and really keeping themselves as a reference point, did I do better than last year? Did I do better than last month? Keeping themselves, did I do better against myself? Keeping themselves at their own competition. What do you think else, or what else do you think that they're learning beyond cheer with lessons like that?
Things in cheer just really transition over into life. I mean, even just as something as small as, like cheating yourself on your, reps of whatever your push-ups that you're doing, and just being an honest, good person, or even if it's just, like pushing yourself and tumbling.
Yeah, you're tired and you don't want to, but you have to.
And that's always going to be life.
Yeah, we tell them all the time, cheer is not forever. And there will be a day where you've got to go to work, and there's going to be a day where you're not going to want to go to work anymore. You're not, it's going to be hard. And that transition, especially because we are young, that transition from high school to the real world
It's tough.
It's really tough. And especially in today's time. And I don't feel like a lot of, especially for us, a lot of teachers or coaches really
prepared us for that.
Let us know the real, they're like, oh, it's not that much fun. But, that's really all that was said about it. Not, hey, this is how it's going to be. And you're going to have to get it done.
Things.
Yeah. Because you're going to need money, because you're going to need to live, like all of those things. So we really try to let them know when we are teaching them lessons in cheer that this is when you're going to use it outside of cheer, and this is when it's going to come into play when you are an adult. And I want you to look back on this moment and realize, hey, I can do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, self-discipline and confidence. Those are two of the biggest, most valuable things that athletes are going to be able to take away from the sport of cheer. So parents who are considering getting their kids into cheer, it's not just a sport. There's some just incredible life lessons that go along with it. Those being two of the absolute best things you could ever do for your kids.
Yes.
So how would you, shifting into the topic of culture, how would you describe the culture in your gym in 3 words?
Positive,
confidence,
and energy.
I'm feeling all 3 of those from you today.
Yes.
So much of them. And I know that there's a lot that has gone into building that culture with you guys.
Yes.
And what are some of your non-negotiable values with everyone in your gym when it comes to your staff, your athletes, your parents? What are some of the non-negotiable values?
I think our first one is just the way that everyone treats each other.
Yeah.
And making sure that, we tell the girls too, like, you never know what someone's going through at home. You never know what kind of day they've had. Really just having grace and being kind, and just remembering that the words that you say really do have weight to them.
I love that, having grace with each other.
And one thing that I would say really have to remind the athletes is to have grace with themselves.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in
That's
this day and
the biggest
age, with the internet and with instant gratification and seeing, it's not cool, quote unquote cool to just have a back handspring anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing whip doubles and kick doubles and,
fulls, arms dead at college teams, and it's
on
like
the internet and stuff. So I feel like, just really reminding the girls that you do have to work hard for things, and that's okay.
But also, like, really embrace every step of the way, and not, comparison is the thief of joy, right? So, as hard as it is, and especially in cheer, because of what cheer is, like, we really try to teach them that you are you and she is she, and y'all are 2 different people at the end of the day. And some things that she can do, you may not be able to do right now, or whatever it may be. Some people's schedules are more open, some people, their parents push them more at home, all of those things.
Some people started earlier, some people started later. Flexibility, and
some people have access to gym memberships, and things like that can help you further along your career. Some people may not have that, so we just try to keep everybody focus on what they need to do individually, and that will help everything come together as a group.
It is a totally different world from when we cheered, with what cheerleaders are facing today with social media. So that's amazing that you teach them to have grace with themselves. Like, I never even thought about that. And I think we still need to have that even as adults. So
Yeah.
another really good nugget they can take with them. And I
Yeah.
hope that's something that everyone who's watching this is able to communicate with their athletes as well. A value that they can really instill with them is have grace with themselves in the day of social media comparisons, especially in the sport of cheer, where everything looks so flawlessly magical. And we forget
Yes.
sometimes about how much work it takes to get it that flawless.
Yeah.
So what do you think makes your program different from, I know you said there was only one other all-star gym around there, and it's extremely diverse in their offerings. But in the all-star industry in general, what do you think makes your program different?
Just because we have gotten athletes not just from this local gym here in town, but we do have a gym about 30-ish minutes away. And we do get athletes from them sometimes. And I would say that the biggest thing that they say is different from other gyms and coming to us is just the atmosphere and how supported they feel and how confident they feel. And just, I mean, they even talk about how the other girls, because we, you know, like I said, we really try to push to the girls that like we want to encourage each other. So especially when new girls come in and, you know, they're throwing a tumbling pass and all the girls are like, you know, go so-and-so. And, you know, everybody's kind of cheering them on. And they're just kind of like looking like,
everything
who are these people? Like they don't even know me, and you know, like they're cheering for me. And so I think that's one of the biggest things that when people come to the gym, they're just kind of
like
shocked by almost.
But in a positive way, of course. But and our coaching staff and making sure that we're all, you know, everyone has a bad day, but when we come in here, you know, we're here for the kids. So having that positive outlook on everything, keeping energy up, celebrating all the small accomplishes. We have a little bell here that used to be a cowbell from when we cheered, and we brought it to the gym, and the girls get to ring the bell when they get a new skill on the floor, and everybody stops and watches, and we all cheer them on. And you know, it's a big celebratory thing, and that goes from handstands all the way up to, you know, fulls. I mean, whatever it may be, we want to celebrate that, and we want that to be a memorable thing for every athlete,
and really let them know that, you know, the time that they have put in, and you know, all of, I mean, because the mental anguish that goes into getting these skills is appreciated and understood.
I love that you guys have something, you know, a specific tradition for every win that you're experiencing there. And a lot of times people are like, well, who do all-star cheerleaders cheer for? Each other.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think was the biggest challenge to your program so far?
I would say, I mean, really the biggest challenge would be just having, so like travel ball is really big here, like travel softball, travel basketball. We live in Dalton, Georgia. Soccer is huge. You know, there was a whole New York Times thing on Soccer Town USA. Almost all the high schools win state champs every single year. So a lot of people do a lot of travel ball sports, but not necessarily travel cheer. And they're like, what, you know, what are you talking about? What even is that? So I think that's just the biggest challenge that we have is kind of explaining to them like it's the same as the other sports, it's just slightly different, you know, it's just a different sport, but it's still the traveling, it's still the commitment, it's still all the things that you can do with that, and letting them know that there is a future in cheer. Like if that is what they're wanting to do, you know, we can get them into college, we can get them a scholarship, you know, whatever it is that you're wanting to do. And even with our older athletes now, like we talk to them about what it is they're wanting for the future, and do you want to start going to college camps, and you know, all of those little things. I would say that's really just the biggest challenge that we have, but once we get them in and we get them to understand, they're normally locked in.
So what do you feel like was one of the turning points in your growth? And that might have happened early on, because you were talking about how you guys just went right on into the deep end with elite. But what do you feel like is one of your biggest turning points with your growth over the years you've been in business?
I mean, I think the first turning point was having an all-star team our very first year open. That was just
because we never expected to do that.
Yeah. So that really pushed us more into like, hey, I think we're going to get to have all-star teams sooner than we even thought. And I think this is going to take off quicker than we even hoped for. So I think that was a really big turning point for us in our program.
I was going to say, I feel like we even, like, all these things that were like, these would, this is the advice I would have had. Like, I wish that I would have had some of that advice, because like our first year going into this first all-star season, like there was no paperwork, no nothing. We were just like, yeah, y'all pay your tuition and you pay your competition fees and and we'll all be good.
Yeah.
No, we learned very quickly that was one of the worst mistakes, I think,
we could ever make. Yeah. Highs come with lows, so it was a great thing we had our first season, but a lot of learning lessons in that first season.
Yeah, sounds like it. So when certain things didn't go as planned, maybe a lot of that happened in your first season, and even now, and probably every single year you're going to be in business, things are sometimes not going to go as planned. How do you guys typically handle that, and what's an example you can give me of that and the outcome?
I would say maybe last year, whenever we ordered warm-ups and things like that, we had someone from the company that we went with, I'm not going to mention them, but they came out and did sizing. It wasn't y'all.
Okay.
They came out and did sizing, and everything was great, everything was good, and then we get our
we had changed. We were going with joggers at first, and then we had changed that to yoga pants. So sizing didn't transfer over the exact same way. So
very different.
A lot of
upset.
Yes, more so than anything. But you live and you learn, and it's gonna be okay. It'll be just fun. They got back with us super quick, and we're able to.
And with that, we were just, like I said, honest with the parents. I think honesty really gets you a long way. And just, telling them, this is what happened, but, we do have a plan to fix this. We're going to reach out to the rep and see what we can do. And thankfully, they were really great to get us some different pants that fit everyone. So I feel like it was a great, easy solution for that.
It's always great when you can work with a uniform company who's solution oriented.
Yes.
Okay. On that note, what is one of the reasons that you guys chose to go with Victory Cheer uniforms and you continue to use Victory Cheer uniforms?
Always great.
Yes. Our first year, we had just looked up cheer uniforms, and I saw y'all pop up. And so I looked through the website, and I saw where it had said, contact somebody, and I had sent in some picture ideas that I had liked, and we were able to do that mock-up. And so once we got our uniforms for the first year and realized the quality of the uniforms, especially
at
for
the
the price
that we're getting,
it was just unbeatable.
For me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. And so that's why we continue to go with y'all every season. Vanessa is fantastic, and she listens to all the crazy things that I have to say about changing
even if we want to change our mock-ups like 5 different times and all the things. She is great. And I think just with y'all versus other companies, I mean, just like I said, having all the changes and y'all just really wanting us to be satisfied with the product that you're putting out, and just like I said, just the quality for the price and the service.
You can't beat it.
Yeah. We really make it our mission to be the best bang for the buck in the cheer industry. So you're right. The quality for the price. We're not the cheapest in the industry, but the kind of quality that you are able to get from us. And like you said, with the communication that you get from us, the staff that you're able to have, the staff that is here supporting that uniform order behind the scenes that makes it possible for you guys to have 5 different mock-ups, and the system that is in place for communication, all of that, the sizing that we're able to do with everybody, that's what goes into making it the best bang for the buck, and still keeping it at a very low price point. There's definitely strategies in place. All of that is by design. So I'm glad that it's been working out really well for you guys.
Our
and
parents
continues
love
to work out for
uniforms.
you.
Every time we go to competitions,
Compliments
whoever's
on
like
them.
emceeing calls them over and is like complimenting their uniforms. Like every time we go somewhere, we are beyond satisfied with our uniforms, and we're so thankful for them, and we get so many compliments on them.
What are some of the things that people don't see behind the scenes in your role?
I would say just all the planning. I mean, even we're having tryouts tomorrow, and all the things that it goes into that, and the social media posts. We went and put up signs around town.
Communicating with parents, planning paperwork and parent meetings, and
The website ready, and
I mean, just like even
fill out the forms, and
and then just like behind the scenes stuff, like paying rent, paying the bills, and doing taxes, and just the general upkeep, mowing and cleaning. And I mean, there's just so much that goes into it, running the front desk and coming up with routines, because we do all of our own choreography as well. And we do all of the tumbling classes, we do privates, we do choreography camps of schools over the summer, so reaching out to those coaches and getting all of that planned, and
we
just
work with other schools throughout the year, and making sure that we know what their goals are, and being
staying
able to accomplish those for them, and as well as keeping our goals for our teams and growing in those aspects. So I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and
educating ourselves on All-Star, but also keeping up with the education of the school cheers around us, and GHSA. Now they're starting to do like game day competition, which schools are reaching out to us to do choreography for. So really just
going to be a new little adventure for us, and
we're excited though.
That's so nice that you guys can do that for all of the local schools as well. So do you put advertisements out there to the schools that you're able to offer those choreography services?
Yeah, we typically
Reach
email.
out and I was gonna say get emails from our superintendent, and then we just kind of send out emails personally to all of the coaches, letting them know kind of what we offer and things like that. And we also have like a coaches guide that we give out, just only if they're interested, especially if they're new, because there is a lot of things that me and Macy wish that, like I said, would have known, even just starting like a middle school cheer team. And because those programs need to be strong to push on to the high school if they're wanting to compete and things like that. So just really making sure that everyone has a good sense of foundation as well.
Wow. So when you said that you are really inspiring cheer in the community, you meant it. The whole community, all the schools, you guys are in there influencing it and encouraging it to become even better. So that's awesome. What kind of advice would you give to a new coach, a new gym owner? What would be your word of advice?
Just research. I wish that we would have gone on and like watched some podcasts, or just kind of, because really all we did was kind of go look at other gym websites and things like that, as far as like modeling our business aspect and things like that,
like pricing and little things.
And I really say just sitting down at the beginning and just kind of really deciding what you want, and really having a clear set path of what, like I said, your expectations are, how you want things to run,
and making goals, and once you accomplish those goals,
setting new goals.
And making sure that you're taking those steps. And even we may have this season goal, but we also have our 5th season, or our 5 more seasons down the road goals type. So we try to keep moving forward in every aspect that we can. And so the biggest piece of advice is just be a little delusional, because without it is life is a little hard, and believe in yourself, and whatever vision you see for the future of whatever program you're at, and know that it can come true, and it will, but you've got to stay persistent, and you've got to
grow some tough skin.
Yes. But I love be a little delusional so much. I'm gonna have art made out of that one.
We say that all the time.
And we also say fake it till you make it sometimes. We tell the girls that, like, sometimes you just gotta fake it till you make it,
That's what all the greats have done.
Exactly. So it works out.
And so as we're wrapping up, one last question for you. What do you want your legacy to be?
That's a tough.
I don't know
know.
if I've ever really even thought about that. I guess just as a gym, just, kind of like we've said all along, really just saying when you look back on this, I think thinking family and thinking like what a great time it was, but also, because not every day is sunshine and rainbows in here. I'll be honest, there's days that we cry, and not just, the girls. And I think just remembering all the hard work that they've put in.
And the relationships that they've built. I mean, Chelsea and I met in cheer, and now here we are. And if it weren't for the sport, we were in 2 different grades. So we would have never been friends. We would have never been anywhere to where we're at now. So yeah, I would agree. The biggest thing that I would want the legacy to be is the girls looking back on it and knowing that they felt nothing but loved and supported in every step of the way. Even if things didn't go good, they still felt that love and support, and knew that at the end of the day, all we want for them is the best.
That's amazing. I know almost every single time I'm talking with someone just out in the real world, it could be someone who works at the bank even, as soon as they find out about Victory Cheer uniforms, they immediately light up and they go back to their days as a cheerleader, and they're so excited to talk about, the journey that they had, and the, exciting time. It's just one of the best times of a person's life is when they were in cheer. And so, yeah, I hope that is the legacy for all of your athletes, that they will definitely be able to look back on some of the best days of their life that were spent there in your gym.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Chelsea and Macy, thank you so much for being guests on Victory Voices. And we will continue working with you guys throughout the years. And I really appreciate you guys just taking your time and sharing your inspiration story with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Great opportunity.
You guys have a great day. We'll see you later.
Yes. Bye. It was so nice to meet you.
You too.